What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, Studio Maguyver, and you are listening to Studio Maguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. If you're new to the show, guys, welcome to the show. If you're into anime, if you're into nerd culture, if you are into video games, then you've come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. Got a great show today for you guys. Episode number 234. Man, 234 episodes. Man, that's getting out there, getting pretty long in the tooth on this podcast, guys. But anyway, got some Dragon Ball stuff to talk about, some GT stuff to talk about, Nintendo Direct. Okay, they had a Nintendo Direct. So many things to discuss on this. I cannot wait to dive into this for you guys. Some good things and definitely some bad things in this thing. It's bittersweet. That's the perfect word I can pick when it comes to this thing. So I can't wait to talk about all of that. But anyway, we're gonna start with Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 76. Gonna discuss that, guys. I discussed the spoilers with you guys last week, and there's a few things I want to touch on when it comes to this thing, this chapter as a whole, and then, I guess I'll conclude with that. But Vegeta, center point, he's my number one all-time favorite character, and if you're a Vegeta fan, you've gone through your ups and downs, and we've all probably asked ourselves, will Vegeta ever surpass Goku? That's a question I think will still be asked 5-10 years from now, and especially if we're dealing with Toyotaro and we're dealing with Toriyama when it comes to writing this character or whatever. But it is what it is. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you kind of accepted that the path and what comes with it. It still doesn't mean you can't be mad about it, because trust me, I am, and I'm sure a lot of other people out there are, and I've seen it, but it is what it is. Anyway, this chapter has a lot to do with Granola and his fight with Vegeta, and you can even throw Goku in there as well, but there were some revelations, to speak of in this chapter, I guess, and it kind of revolves around the beginning of the end of Granola going up against Vegeta and Goku. Okay, if you're new to the chapter, if you're new to the series or whatever, what's going on, I mean, it's this character named Granola who basically had a wish to become the most powerful being in the universe, and he did that because he wanted to take out his revenge on anybody that had to do with taking out his planet, and basically him being like the last of his people. Okay, his race is pretty much extinct. He's the only one left, and the responsible parties are the Saiyans and Frieza. At the very tippity top. Okay, Frieza sent the Saiyans to his planet Cereal, and they pretty much wiped it out. Okay, the Saiyans wiped it out for Frieza, but Frieza initiated the attack. All right, so his ultimate goal is killing Frieza. All right, now that's going to, bring some issues about, in the world of Dragon Ball right now currently, because if you've been watching, or if you've watched the Tournament of Power, even though Frieza is, I wouldn't call him friends to Goku or Vegeta at all. I would call him an associate, and that's even, being a little too strong of a word. Okay, he's somebody who joined forces with them to take out Jiren in that tournament because their livelihood, so to speak, were on the line, and that's what happened. But Frieza's the type of character that doesn't give a fuck. Okay, if it has anything to do with him trying to win or be on top or be the reign supreme, he's going to stab whoever he has to, in the back to do that. Okay, that is who Frieza is, and that's partly why he's one of my top 5 all time in the whole universe of Dragon Ball, because that's his character. I don't think he would fit, as a kind of Vegeta character or other characters who Goku used to be enemies with, and then as a result of beating them, learning more about them, then becoming friends. He's done that with a lot of his cast, his team. I mean, shit, Krillin, fucking Yamcha, Tien Shinhan, Piccolo, like Vegeta, like all these guys he's run into, he's eventually become friends with, and they become partners, and they fight together now. So, but Frieza, I just don't see that. Would it be kind of cool? I mean, yeah, it'd be like a cool like spinoff or one-off or something like that. But that's just not who Frieza is, man. If you're writing Frieza correctly, that's not who Frieza is. Yeah, he'll fight alongside you, only if it benefits him. And then when it's over, he's out of there. So that's just my take on Frieza, and it's just not going to work out good any way you slice it. That's why I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to play out in the end, because right now you have Granola fighting Vegeta and fighting Goku, mainly Vegeta right now, and trying to end them because he's so hell-bent on getting revenge on everybody who had anything to do with him and his people going through what they went through. So basically that's where we're at in this chapter. Vegeta is basically getting his ass whooped. He started off strong with his new quote-unquote form, but it was a form that he just, got acclimated to. It's really a form he actually just found out that he was able to do in this fight. He's never had this form before, so anytime you have a new form, especially in the world of Dragon Ball, how it works is, yeah, it's powerful and it's this and that, but you don't have full autonomy of that form. In other words, it's not at its peak. It's not full level. It's just something he just ascended to, and those things take time to learn, and you have to know more about it, and they actually get better with time. Okay, so right now this is kind of like his halfway mark. That ultra ego form he had is just like at the halfway mark. Okay, so he still has time and ways to go to perfect that, if you will, if that makes any sense. But anyway, he found himself on the top at first, and then of course as the fight progressed, the same thing happened to Granola, which he developed his strengths and he unlocked his abilities, and he got stronger as the fight progressed, and he's unlocked his power and opened or awakened his power. So he begins to stomp the shit out of Vegeta, okay, which pissed everybody off, of course. And Vegeta was to the point where he was ready to die, like Biggie. Okay, he was like, fuck it, I've accepted this. One thing, the revelation that occurred in this chapter was Vegeta finding out, or finally admitting, that he has changed as a person. Because if we all know Vegeta, we all know he's got that Frieza mentality a lot of the ways. He's a very selfish individual. He's a very egotistical individual, and he's an introvert. He doesn't like a lot of that camaraderie and stuff like that. He's to himself for the most part. All of those things, and he was really, at his core, he was a heartless individual at one point, man. I mean, he was a savage. Let's keep it real with each other. Vegeta was a fucking savage, still is, but over the years of being integrated into the Z team and having a family finally and settling down and all that, he has changed as far as what he wants and what his goals are. And it's no longer to, devastate Earth and he always says, yeah, he wants to be Goku, but he doesn't want to kill Goku anymore. Okay, that's old. That's been passed. Goku has grown on him, along with, like I said, his family now. It's almost like he's part of the family now. So it's changed him. He's not that cutthroat individual he once was, because then he was alone and he didn't have anybody to care for or care for him, and it's all changed. So now he is in that ballpark, and he had to finally come to the realization that that's who he is now, and he can't do what he thinks needs to be done to follow Beerus and what you need to be capable of to do some of those God of Destruction type things, because he was training under Beerus for that, and he realizes this. So he was just ready to die. He thought he was going to die, and he was ready. He was inviting it, and Granola was about to bring it and hand him that death that he was waiting for, until he was interrupted by a character by the name of, if I'm pronouncing this right or wrong, I'm sorry guys, I'm just gonna say Minato. Basically what this character is, he's a Namek, okay, and he is the Namekian guardian of planet Cereal. All right, and Goku and Vegeta were kind of stunned, because they didn't think that was possible, but it is possible, and they do have a Namekian guardian, and this guy is cool, and he jumped in and he basically said, look, I got to tell you something that I was just I was wrong about, and I kind of kind of hid from you, but I'm going to keep it real and I'm going to tell you the truth now. 40 years ago, you were actually saved by a Saiyan, and the Saiyan goes by the name of Bardock. Okay, that was revelation. A lot of people in the internet and online, kind of went batshit crazy over this. But yes, there was a flashback, basically, and Bardock was the one who saved him. Okay, now this is towards the end of the chapter. All right, here we are at the end of the chapter, and now where we're at is what's going to happen next. Now that he knows this, where is he going to go from here? I think this is going to be the turning point where, Granola kind of backs off a little bit and realizes that, look, these guys aren't your enemy here. Yes, they are Saiyans, but you might not want to punish them for something that, their people did and a, bigger scale of things. You know what I mean? So this is probably going to deter him from killing them, talk him off the ledge, so to speak, and then they will finally, come together and join forces, maybe. I don't know if it's going to be that, clean cut and dry, but I think this is going to be the beginning jump off point to that. All right. Now, my question is, there's so many other questions left on the table. If they do become associates in this whole arc, if you will, there's got to be some other pretty powerful things or people at play, because if there's going to be any sort of a challenge, towards these guys, because Granola's pretty fucking OP right now. All right. And Goku and Vegeta are no slouches. What is going to happen? What is going to present the fact that they must all join forces together to take out the Hitas and, maybe what they're about to do. So, and then nobody's talked about Frieza. This whole point is still on Frieza. Okay. He's still probably going to want to kill Frieza. And if he does, Goku's not going to let that happen. Goku's going to be the one to say, don't do that. But I think Vegeta would say, well, if you want to kill him, let's kill him. That's going to be the interesting dynamic in all this, in my opinion, like how all that's going to come to be. Or even if Frieza has another agenda of his own, could this be another huge battle with the main culprit being Frieza? This would be very interesting. I cannot fucking wait to see what's going to happen. There's so many questions that could be, there's so many questions up in the air. So many different scenarios can take place, and I'm really excited to see what that's going to be. Now, that's my take on it. I don't know about you guys, how you guys feel, but that's where we're at. That's where we leave chapter 76 right now. And everybody's waiting on 77 to see what's going to happen next, what that next thing is going to be. Will we see Frieza? Will we finally see Frieza, what he's been up to? That's something I definitely want to know, and what he's been up to. Has he been training? What's going on? You know what I mean? Golden form. Let's see. You would have to believe that he is. You'd have to believe that in his heart, in the bottom of his heart, while nobody's around, he's wanting to desperately find a way to be able to take out Goku and Vegeta, and especially knowing their newfound powers and all these things. So if I'm Frieza, I'm training. Definitely. He achieved golden form 4 months time. He could definitely achieve something greater, a greater power, if he commits and trains. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. And then these other Dragon Balls, that's going to play a big part into it. So I don't know, man. There's a lot to be discussed. But right now, I'm going to leave it there. That's chapter 76. And when chapter 77 hits, trust me, you'll hear it from your boy. Okay? Now, while we're still on the Dragon Ball train, before we jump off on the last stop, let's go ahead and stop off on Dragon Ball GT Avenue, okay, and talk about that. One of the things that I've been doing, and I've discussed with you guys, new listeners, if you're just new to the show, I've basically told my listeners that I am going to watch GT, okay? I thought I'd never watch GT. I thought GT would be something that I tried it before, and I could not get through it. But I, bit down on a towel. I hit that play button, and I kind of, fought through it. And last week I made it to episode 16. All right. And then I was able to watch, let's see how many episodes. I was able to watch about 7-8 episodes over this past week, guys. So I hit 17 and I got to 25. Okay. Now, it was from the first, 4 or 5 of those episodes. It was hard to watch still. It was still hard to watch. It was still, a lot of filler, and it was stuff in there that I wasn't a fan of. But then we got into, sort of like the the baby situation. Okay, this when the shit started to get a little interesting. Okay, this baby character hijacks people. He steals their energy, and after he steals their energy, they end up dying, and he fucking gets a little bit stronger, kind of like how Cell did. Okay, kind of how Cell got his energy or whatever. Just think of it like that. But he's doing this, and his whole goal is to try to hijack the Saiyans because they have the most power, and him doing that would make him the ultimate fucking beast. All right, and he almost had them. He almost had Goku, Trunks, and Pan. In particular, he almost had Trunks, but it was come to find out it was a plan. Trunks put himself in that position to be exposed, to make baby show his true colors and come out. And when he did that, they stopped him, and he actually got a chance to invade Trunks for a second. He had a wound that he had sustained in the fight, and he got in there and tried to take him over, but Trunks was too powerful, and baby was, let's just say, he wasn't strong enough yet. He's still he doesn't have enough energy. Trunks went Super Saiyan and basically kicked him out of his body. He was like, get the fuck out of here. And so he took off. Okay, they tried to kill him, but they couldn't, and he took off, and he found another vessel, got on a ship, and basically took everybody else on that ship out. But he's getting stronger, and he's basically sworn to return and take out these characters and absorb them. So that's his mission. But where it gets good for me, where it really gets good for me, it started to get good, is when they finally went to planet Earth, and you finally got to see Vegeta. I saw him for the first time, and you get to see, what everybody else is doing on Earth. Okay. Of course, the mothers are worried about their sons and their children, which they're, talking about Trunks and Pan, out there in space doing their thing. They have no idea what's going on out there, but they, worry like mothers do. Okay. But one of the cool things that, I saw first, Vegeta, I really, 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 really dig his, I really dig his art style in GT. His base form, like the tank top and the pants and the hair, the little slightly different style of hair. I mean, I really do. There's a couple things GT did that that are cool, and this is one of those things. The design of Vegeta in GT, and also in GT, you find out that Gotenks is a fucking pimp. Okay, Gotenks loves the girls, man. He loves the women. He's not scared, of girls. Kind of like how Gohan was. Kind of more taking a timid approach. Yeah, he had a girlfriend and all that, and he's married and everything. But it took him some time to get there. Gotenks is not playing. Okay, Gotenks is chopping up on the telephone, making his mama jealous, mad, upset. You know what I mean? He's doing his thing though. And he's got this date, and he's having a good old time with his date. You know what I mean? And this is where shit gets good. There's even some like nice little tidbits in there where Vegeta, had a mustache, okay, and he shaved his fucking mustache, and the only reason why he really shaved his mustache is because his daughter saw his mustache and fucking clowned him. It was basically like, Daddy, that shit was ugh, that mustache. So that's really why he shaved it, because his daughter told him it didn't look good, and then his wife and everybody started fucking with him about his mustache as well. So yeah, it pissed him off, but that's why he ended up shaving. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool. And like I said, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of, GT finally. I think, like I said, it was like around episode 24, 25, man. But we also get a chance to see Mr. Satan make an appearance with his bald-headed ass. Yes, he's older now, and, now he's bald, and he's still boasting and doing all the shit that he, Mr. Satan is known for, lying on his abilities and things of that nature. And then when danger is around, he always, for whatever reason, ends up getting saved and making people think that he's really more OP than he actually is. Okay. He comes down. There's baby finally touched down, okay, on Earth. And he's looking for these Saiyans, and he's invading bodies and using those bodies to fight. And he ended up causing a big ruckus in the city, Satan City to be exact. Mr. Satan came out. Everybody was like, hey, Mr. Satan's here, yada, yada, yada. He sees Gotenks and realizes that, this dude that I'm going up against is OP. I can't beat him. Let me have one of my proteges, handle this. So he goes to Gotenks and tells Gotenks, look, man, please help me out. You tell him you're my protege. I need you to fight this dude. So Gotenks fights the guy who was invaded by Baby, knocks him out the park. But then, of course, like Baby does, he invades another body. He can switch like that. And, he's finally revealed himself, basically. And Gotenks is like, get everybody out of the city, whatever, it's about to go down. So that's where I'm at now. This is episode 25. Like, Gotenks is about to go one-on-one with Baby, and this is the first time that I've actually been sitting here and like, yo, if I had some popcorn, I'd be eating the shit right now. I'd say the last few episodes leading up to 25 has been pretty good. So right now, this is the time where I can actually say that GT is actually enjoyable for me right now, right around episode 24, 25. Okay. So after this, I definitely, like I said, I'm going to touch base with you guys again. I don't know how many episodes I'll get finished, but I'll at least try to, I try to do it in chunks, so I'll try to do, 8 to 10 episodes, per week, that I can try to get done. And cause like I said, I have a lot of things that I'm doing, and this is just something I have to fit in here. So I will definitely come back next week and give you guys the next rundown. We're almost halfway there. There's only like 64 episodes in GT and all of GT anyway. So, I mean, I'm almost done. So I figure I'd be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks with the whole thing, and then giving you guys my final thoughts on GT as a whole. But those first 20 episodes, they were hard to get through. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And I think the reason why a lot of people stopped watching GT, or who tried to start watching it, it was because of those first 20 episodes or so. You know what I mean? You're watching those and you're like, damn, I just, sometimes anime, you have to really, you have to really be strong, endure, a lot longer than most anime. Usually 2 or 3 episodes, what you have, but sometimes it takes, time, like real time, to get into some of these. Okay, Boruto is another example of that, for me at least. I mean, I started it started off, really, really slow, really slow. I mean, it and then it picked up for a quick minute, then it slowed down again. And then, matter of fact, I'm watching Boruto right now as well, over, and now I just hit around episode 60, right, and this is right when shit's starting to heat up again. So I think I've hit the sweet spot where it's starting to heat up again. And I remember episode 67, like one of the best episodes ever produced. I remember that. So I'm gonna, I'm getting closer there. So we'll see where we go. Like I said, there's still so much Boruto to watch, and I've heard great things, especially as of late, and not necessarily. I heard some sad things too regarding Naruto. But I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna spoil myself, and because I love that series so much, I'm gonna watch that. But as far as GT is concerned, guys, that's where we're at. I hope this Baby situation is going to be dope. Anytime you got Vegeta involved, for the most part, you can't really, it's going to be hard to hate for me personally as a fan. So like I said, I'm into this character in GT, and I want to see what Baby is going to actually, result to, and what's going to happen here. Can't wait, guys. I'll fill you in next week on how many episodes I finish, and we'll get to that. But now that that's all over with, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. It's the subject, the topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys for a minute, and it revolves the Nintendo Switch Direct, this recent Nintendo Switch Direct. And there's a lot of things to be discussed here, man. I mean, when I was taking my notes, goddamn, it takes up pretty much the whole fucking piece of paper. Okay, there was a lot of bright spots here, but there were also some dark ones. Okay, and we're gonna dive into this shit. Let's just go ahead and start off the cuff, okay? One of the high points, in my opinion, but it's bittersweet for me. It's bittersweet for me. From you, some people out there may feel differently. I'm gonna bring it out now. But anyway, they announced that KOTOR is coming to Nintendo Switch. If you don't know what KOTOR is, it's Knights of the Old Republic. Okay, it's a classic fucking game. It's a game that I fucking adore. It's a older Star Wars RPG game, but it still holds up to this day. It's pretty much out on everything now. Like, I mean, it's out on Xbox. I played on Xbox when I first had it, but it's out on the Game Pass or Xbox period. You have to buy it. I think it's like $10. I think I want to say, if you want to buy it, I think you can buy it on your if you have an Xbox One or Xbox, Series S or X. It's also on phones, mobile phones. You can buy it there. I mean, pretty much anywhere, tablets, anything you have, you can pretty much find this game. But I mean, what I got to say about this though, the bitter part about it for me is that the size of the game, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna download it. What's this? I want it on the Switch. How big is it? It's 15 gigabytes. So that killed my shit, and I said, oh fuck, I can't do it. Because if you guys know me, when it comes to my Nintendo Switch, I'm a guy who, I have a memory stick in there, but I'm a guy who likes to put my indies on there. There's a lot of dope indie games. There's a lot of awesome games that are under a gig that, I save and reserve that space for. I do not want to use 15 gigs for one game. It's just too many games that could have gone on that and used that space. So that's me personally. There's a lot of games out there that are awesome that just come to the Switch and that are coming to the Switch that deserve to be there, and they're very surprisingly small games. Small games as far as how much memory they take. But there's like I played a game called like the 9 Monks or something like that recently with my son. We ran through the whole game, beat it, but the game was long as fuck. I mean, the game was like a 25-hour game. Okay, we did some shit in this game, and I think that game was like under a gig. It was in size. So you want to save your space for those type of things, for those type of games. Me personally, that's what I'd like to do. But yeah, I also have that game on other platforms. So if you don't have it on another platform and you want to get a chance to play it on Switch, is perfect. Then you don't mind spending that space for it, cool, do that. But me personally, I don't have the space to give for that. I do have a lot of space still left, but like I said, I want those filled with games. I want hundreds of games on my Switch, not dozens. If that makes any sense. If I can get a physical copy of a game on Switch, I will do it if I really love the game. If not, then if it has to be digital, like some just had to be for me, then that also you kind of need that space for that as well. That's just me. That's my perspective on it. Everybody has different opinions. But anyway, that's some good news. But it will be coming out November 11th for you guys that are wondering. It's not available now. November 11th is the date. So be looking out for that November 11th if you want to play KOTOR on your Nintendo Switch. All right. Now, there's a Mario movie. Okay, a Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, we've had one of those before. I think John Leguizamo was in it and somebody else. Wasn't very good. Okay. And typically when they do movies based on video game characters, the movies don't come out good. All right. 9 times out of 10, they just don't. Now, there are exceptions, but for the most part, that is not the case. Anyway, it's coming out holiday 2022. That's when it's slated for release. But some of the characters, or actors, let me say, that have been announced for this got me kind of scratching my head. All right. You got Chris Pratt. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy. He's playing Mario. Now, I don't know how this is going to, that's the last person I thought would play Mario. Okay. Let's just keep it real. I don't know how they're going to do it with the voice and how it's going to happen. I don't know if they're even going to make the game or movie, quote unquote, mostly based on the game, the game character in the franchise. You know what I mean? Because the last movie that came out, it was kind of a loose kind of association with it. You know what I mean? I thought, when I think Mario movie, I think like a Pixar, maybe like a Disney type of thing, a setting, not actual characters. Like, I don't know, guys. Maybe it's still graphically gonna look that way, maybe like a Pixar type of movie. I don't know, but that's what I'm looking at, and I'm hoping that's where they go with it. But if it's a live action, I'm definitely not gonna be able to watch it. And there's also Jack Black in here, and then there's Seth Rogen too. So they're going for star power here. I think Seth Rogen is gonna play Toad, if I'm not mistaken, and Jack Black he's either gonna play Toad or Koopa. I can't remember. But anyway, these guys they're big time stars, and they're putting him in this movie. And I hope it's not one of those things where, let's get all the star power we can find and let's hope to sell it that way. I mean, that'd be wrong to do. But that's where we're at. We have a Mario movie in the works, guys. Okay, holiday 2022. When more information comes, I will definitely keep you posted. But yeah. But one of the high points of this Nintendo Direct for me personally is the next game I want to talk about. In this game, is a Kirby game, but not just any Kirby game. Okay, the first of its kind. Okay, your first ever fully 3D Kirby adventure. And the name of the game is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And I can't wait for this game. The trailer looked good. It was only, a minute and a half trailer, but it gave you a great idea of what the game's going to entail a little bit. And I think they can really do something with this game. I mean, I'm surprised, really, honestly, that they haven't done this sooner. But I'm glad that they can check this mark and on their bucket list on the Nintendo Switch and say, look, we've finally done a 3D, a fully 3D Kirby game now. We got a Mario. Let's do Kirby, and let's go from there. So I'm digging that, and I can't wait for this one. As far as the release on this one is, I couldn't find a release date on this. They didn't. They just gave us the preview. Hopefully it'll be 2022 sometime, because it looks like they've got some stuff done. I mean, the trailer shows it. If I find any more information, I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But I didn't see a release date. Okay. Here's another bright spot. Here's another game I want to talk about real quick. A game that everybody has been actually waiting for. Everybody has been curious about. Everybody was kind of scared about this game because, we thought it entered production hell and we would never see it. And I'm talking about Bayonetta 3. Finally, okay, Bayonetta 3, a franchise, that so many people love, and a developer that one of my favorite developers of all time, okay, Platinum Games, is working on this. So, you gotta have faith that it's gonna be dope in that regard, in that department. But we finally got some gameplay footage, not just a trailer. We got some gameplay footage, a gameplay trailer. Not a lot, but enough to, appease me and I'm sure a lot of other people. And rest assured, give us that kind of reassurance that, the game is in the works and it's going to be done soon. And we even got a release date window, which is 2022. Okay, they're playing it safe with the 2022 thing, so they can say, oh, we got full reign of the whole year of 2022. So if they want to, they can drop the shit holiday season 2022. All right, which if I'm you guys and I'm waiting for this game, I'd pin it for that. Don't get your hopes up for, first quarter, not even second quarter. Just in my opinion, if it comes out before then, hey, that's a great surprise. If not, the end of 2022. So just keep your hopes and dreams there. But at least it's coming 2022 finally. I think they've been working on this shit for 4 or 5 fucking years. Okay, they announced this shit 4 or 5 years ago. So now they're finally getting a hold of it. And, it's Platinum Games, and they want this game. It's a Nintendo exclusive, so you definitely want to make it the best it can be. You want to sell more Nintendo Switches, right? You know what I mean? And this is the game, one of the games that could possibly do that. All right. That's out of the way. We got some other announcements here. We got a new Monster Rise expansion. It's coming summer of 2022, so we still got a little ways to go because we just got done with summer recently here, so we still got another year before we get that. But everybody's saying, the company's saying it's going to be huge. It's going to be new monsters, new areas, all these things, and they've done so much already with the Monster Hunter Rise franchise up until this point, guys. I haven't even played it. It's been a while since I played it, so I know when I go back to it, it's going to be ridiculous. You had the what's the name from Mega Man, the pet from Mega Man in there. You also had some other DLCs in there, or it's a lot that they've done, and they definitely know how to cater to their fans. So this next expansion is definitely going to be dope. There's still so many things that I need to play through that's already out now with it, so I still have plenty of things to do and all that. So yeah, by the time I do all that and then put it up again and come back around to playing it, that expansion will be there. Of course, it's going to be a paid expansion, which I don't mind paying for this game, because like I said, this is one of the best Monster Hunter games ever, period, at least from my experience. And like I said, it's basically your Monster Hunter games taking out all the shit that a lot of people don't like about Monster Hunter, okay? Especially being, number one, being traversal, okay? Being able to move around as quickly and as possibly as you can in these on these maps. Okay, because running can only, get you so far until you get tired of that shit. All right, you want to be able to fucking sprint and fucking get to point A to point B with no hesitation. And that's one of the things that most Monster Hunter players, fucking want and needed. And we're finally getting that, or we finally got that here. And, other things also that they added. But That's one of the number one things right there. All right. But yeah, they finally announced something. We got some stuff coming. So Monster Hunter fans, rejoice. Be looking out for all of that. Also, there's some fucking Splatoon 3 gameplay that was shown. I'm not a big Splatoon guy, but I do respect the fandom, and there's a lot of people who fucking dig it, and it's more power to you guys if you like that stuff. But there is some stuff coming out. It's gonna be featuring a new world to explore, new areas and all that. So I'm sure new areas to play on. So I'm sure a lot of you guys will appreciate that. That's really all I know right now as far as Splatoon is concerned. I don't know when it's coming out, but it is a thing and it is in development. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is a Chocobo GP. It's a Final Fantasy racer. Okay, just think Mario Kart, but with Final Fantasy characters, so to speak. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's got a 2022 release date window, and that's all we know about it so far. There is a little trailer on it. It looks okay. I mean, it looks like something some kids could play it or whatever. I mean, Mario Kart for me is just a little bit too PG of a racer, and it's a little too simple for me. It's not gritty enough. For me personally, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who enjoy it. There are, because it's one of the number one games out there. So, if you like it, I fucking love it. And this Final Fantasy Racer could end up being big. You know what I mean? Could be an alternative to that. I mean, pretty much you can make your own car. I mean, all you got to do is have wheels. So there's all kinds of different customization you can do to your ride. I've seen skates. I've seen floaters and things of that nature. So the choices are pretty much out there for you to pick apart and choose what you want, which is cool. Moving on to the next subject at hand, let's talk about Castlevania Advanced Collection, guys. All right, it's 4 games on Castlevania. It's out now, and I love when they do these fucking stealth drops where they give you the fucking trailer and announcement, and then it's already available right now on the at the eShop and everything. I love those things. No matter, I don't care if the game is straight trash or hot garbage. The fact that this is a game here, and guess what? You can go get it right now. I mean, that's cool. I think that's always been cool, and this is one of those things, one of those games. And a lot of people, there's a lot of Castlevania games that people adored on the Advanced. Okay, and these are 4 games that you get. I think you get Circle of Moon, you get Harmony of Dissidence, you get what's the other one? Aria of Sorrow, and you also get Dracula X, which is a Super Nintendo game. Okay, those games will also feature rewind, quick save, and button mapping, so you can play the way you want to play to your heart's content with these games. I think it's $20, $19.99 right now on the fucking Nintendo eShop. So if you are into those games, definitely go out there and pick those up, man. Not a bad price for 4 games, if I do say so myself. So, I mean, Nintendo's doing some things good here. They definitely have some bright spots here. Like I said, the Kirby thing, definitely dope. This, this Castlevania collection thing is pretty dope. They also got a remake of a game they did, ActRacer Renaissance, okay, which is also out now. And it's a remake of the Super Nintendo game. If you guys don't remember, I used to have this game, and I used to love the graphics. I used to think that this is one of the best graphically made games for the Super Nintendo. You know what I mean? It was an RPG. Square Enix. You can't really go wrong with Square Enix. It's a Square Enix game. So definitely be looking out for this one. That's out now as well. I think this one is like $30 though. It's a little too steep for me. Right now, I had to see a little bit more on this one, but it's there. I definitely put it on my save, and hopefully, their sale will come, and I will jump on it. All right. Next, let's talk about the 2 upcoming mini directs. Yes, we have 2 separate mini directs coming, and they focus on 2 games. One in particular is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and the other one is Animal Crossing. Now, they have, I don't know, I mean, maybe they have a lot to announce. They must have if they wanted to put these in separate advances. Now I know why Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is doing their thing, because they have one final character that they want to reveal, and after this character, it's going to be no more. So if you're a Smash player, this is going to be the final character, the final update that this game will be getting. Okay, after that, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be, that's what it's going to be. Nothing else is coming for it. So I think they're going to do a separate one for that, and they may segue in. This character's got to be a big one. He's got to be huge if they're if they're surrounding a mini direct, you know, saying just surrounding it about around this character. That's going to be crazy. All right. Can't wait to see. Wonder who this character is going to be. I'm very curious, but we shall see when the time is right. But it's going to be, we'll know by the 5th, October 5th. That is when this one's going to be slated and it's coming out. And then the other one is going to be regarding Animal Crossing. Okay. And that one is going to be at a later date in October. They don't even specify an exact date. They just know October. So it could be the very end of October. Who knows? But supposedly the Animal Crossing is going to get a huge expansion. It's going to be super big. And, you know, a lot of people were complaining who are Animal Crossing players that, you know, there wasn't enough content or they needed more content. So this should definitely wet their beaks and open up a whole new world for all those Animal Crossing players. So yeah, 2 separate events for 2 separate games. That's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? In its own right. And now we get to the bottom portion of what's going on here with this Nintendo Direct, guys. And I have some things to say about it. All right. Now, they announced that there will be a digital Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis game collection. Okay. Coming in the end of October. Okay. So be looking for that sometime at the end of October near Halloween, whatever. And that's going to be a thing. Now, as a Nintendo Switch guy and player, you know, one of the things I used to always talk about was, man, the virtual consoles. Okay. The Nintendo, we had it, you know, and I think that, you know, Nintendo is milking a lot of this stuff, man. They're, and I'll get to that in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, okay, about this stuff, because the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis game collection thing, you know, I'm going to talk about why that has so many people up in arms, okay. But anyway, some of the titles include Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Ocarina of Time, you know, F-Zero, you know, which are awesome games in their own right. And then Sega, you know, you got your Sonic 2s and you got your fucking Golden Axes, and there's more games, you know, but it's kind of sensitive and it's kind of touchy, you know, because number one, Nintendo should have been done this. I think the virtual console thing should have carried over to the Nintendo Switch, me personally. All right. I think you should just allow people to, you know, whatever games they like on whatever platform that, you know, Nintendo previously had, you should be able to go there and, you know, buy those games. And Nintendo could make a killing doing that. Okay. But instead, you know, we have the Nintendo online service, which is like $3 a month. Okay. But now, because of this new announcement of the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis game collection, they have also announced that they will be adding a premium Nintendo Switch online package. Okay. So not enough that we're paying this $3 a month for this weak service that, let's keep it real, it is very weak. Okay. The service is weak. All right. We have another price point on the way. We don't even know right now what it is. They haven't even announced that. And we won't know that until later on, until the end of the month, that, you know, what this is going to cost to do all these things. So you mean to tell me we got to pay more money now because you decided to add Nintendo 64 games and Sega Genesis games, and only a handful of games? I mean, it's not like they're adding the entire library. They're going to do it like how they did with the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo. They're going to fucking bird feed us games. You know, they'll put out a few games, maybe a month, if that, and eventually, you know, make the library bigger. But it's just, I feel some type of way about that. You know what I mean? Now, one good plus, I guess you could argue and say, is that a lot of these games are going to be able to be played in co-op or couch co-op or, you know, online. So you will be able to play, you know, some of these older games against people like F-Zero. You know, you could play online or something like that. And you can play like, you know, co-op and stuff, which is cool. I mean, but you're still talking about games that are 20 plus years old. And a lot of these games, well, most of them, you can find and play them on other platforms easily. And you can find them, you know, updated as far as, you know, HD versions of these games. I mean, on your phone, on your fucking tablets, you know, on your computer, whatever. I mean, a lot of these games, like, especially talking about Sega, I mean, can be found anywhere. I pretty much have every Sega game that I ever wanted, you know, on other devices that I could play. Same thing for Nintendo 64. I have that on the computer. I have a Nintendo 64 myself. Now, some of the games that I really wished that would come to 64 are not going to come. And I'm talking about these wrestling games, which is one of, some of the only games I've played on the 64. Why I even had a 64. But with that comes into play with basically licensing. Okay, that's where you hit that wall, and I hate that. I mean, I should believe, look, you had a game, you had these characters on this game. This game is done, completed. You should be able to put this game back out again as long as you'd like and sell the game. Okay, period. But it doesn't work that way. You have to fucking go get licensing for all the characters and people who are involved in these games and all this bullshit. And I think that's, why we'll never see a wrestling game ported, back to the Switch. I wish that would be my ultimate dream, to be able to play WCW NWO Revenge on the fucking Switch. That's one of my big dreams. I'm not gonna lie to you. That, and then some of the others, Virtual Pro Wrestling too, some of these games, but it's not gonna happen. I would love for them just to make a generic version of that. Just give us a generic version with a bunch of faceless wrestlers, but just throw the moves in there and let us do our own thing. They would make a fucking killing with that game. But that's just me, wishful thinking, whatever. It is what it is. But, it just doesn't justify the means, if you ask me, guys. It just doesn't. I don't think, raising the price, for Nintendo Switch Online is the right thing to do just because you added Nintendo 64 and Sega games, okay? I think your whole library of, older consoles should be included with the current situation, especially when we don't still have native voice chat, on this thing. And I don't think we'll ever have native voice chat on the Nintendo Switch. The only time we can chat with other individuals on the Nintendo Switch is when we're playing other games who have their own separate servers, like a Fortnite or like a Warframe. That's it, and that is all. They could easily do that, but they choose not to. They want to be lazy. They want to take shortcuts on a lot of things that they fucking do. Like now, they want to put and release old games that most of these were all on the Nintendo Wii, but they want to bird feed us these games, and they want to charge us more in an online service to play this shit. Okay, I don't agree with that. I have a problem with that, and that's what a lot of people are bitching and moaning about when it comes to Nintendo Switch. But Nintendo, they're still those Nintendo shields, and they're going to fucking buy it, and they're going to continue to do these things because they're Nintendo, and I've been a victim of some of that, and I'm sure some other people have as well, but it's just the way it is. If people don't stop buying them, then that ball is going to continue to keep rolling. Okay, but that's where we're at with the Nintendo. We also have I pretty much said everything I need to say. I mean, there's really nothing else that I could say, but besides the controllers, okay, that they have. All right, which they actually have a Nintendo 64 wireless controller that's coming out, and a wireless Sega Genesis controller. All right, and they're going to be $50 a piece. All right, now that's still that's too steep. I mean, that's what I'm saying. See what I'm saying, guys? They want you to pay all this money. Now, I am curious about how that Nintendo 64 controller is going to look. I mean, I know how it's going to look, but how it's going to play and the intricacies in that, because, a lot of people don't like that controller. Reason being, the fucking analog stick on that is it has a short shelf life before it starts to get, wobbly and starts to lose its, its strength, if you want to find a word for that. I can't really find a word for that, but yeah, you know what I mean? So it's going to be anxious to see how Nintendo put together this controller, and what, and why they're charging $50 for this controller. Because you can get the replicas and all that, which aren't very good anyway, but you can get those for like $15, $20, depending where you shop from. But then also the Sega Genesis controller, wireless controller, man, you're charging $50 for that. I mean, maybe $25 or something. I could see that, but damn, you're charging $50 for that controller. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, yeah, there are people, shields are going to buy it. I'm a big Sega fan too, but I'm not going to buy that. I recommend anybody who is looking for a controller, a very good controller at that, and for that price point, or even a little bit cheaper, I recommend everybody going 8-bit dough. Okay, 8-bit dough is one of the best controllers you can buy. I have a SN30 Pro, and just Google that shit and you'll understand what I'm talking about. I mean, it's shaped like a fucking old school Super Nintendo controller, but it's got the fucking handles of a PS4 controller. and it's a dope controller, man. It's wireless, and you could fucking. It has a battery inside, and or if you don't have the battery, you can actually put your own fucking batteries in there and run it off of that, or you could just run it off of the power of the Nintendo Switch. So it is awesome. Plus, it's not just, you know, it's not just limited to Nintendo Switch. You can use this 8-bit Do controller on pretty much anything. You can use it on your tablet. You can use it on your PC. So it's a multi-faceted controller, but it works for me perfectly for my Nintendo Switch controller. It's my go-to controller for my Nintendo Switch, and I think that one was, I want to say it was $50, like $45. It was less than $50. So definitely, if you're going to look for a controller, something universal, something that's going to work with everything, you got to go with 8-bit Do. If you don't trust me, you don't believe me, Google them. There's plenty of videos. There's plenty of reviews on these controllers. And trust me, I don't buy anything unless I review it, unless I, multiple reviews. And I know I'm getting, a steady product. So there you have it, guys. That is the Nintendo Direct news. I mean, there's a lot of mixed emotions in here for me, but there are some bright spots. Like I said before, I'm looking forward to the Kirby game. That's probably my highlight. And then Bayonetta 3 eventually in 2022 sometime when we get that. Those are my real bright spots in the whole thing. I also kind of dig the Castlevania collection there. So those are what I'm looking forward to. I don't know about you guys. The Nintendo 64 games, yeah, I'm just really curious about what they're going to be charging per year now. I think right now we're currently at $30 a year or something like that. But I'm wanting to see what they're going to raise that to, and if it's worth it. Because right now, to me, I'm sorry, it's just not worth making that upgrade. Not for those games, but those games can be, like I said, I can play those anytime I want. Okay, and I don't have to pay another premium. I'm only paying online right now because there's some games that I like to still play online with my Switch. The Monster Hunter and games like that. But other than that, no, I'm not doing it. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. I will definitely give you a recap, and if I hear any news, I will let you know. But that is going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening, for downloading, for streaming, whatever it is you consumed. I thank you. I want to thank everybody for that. And I also want to give everybody a shout out and have everybody go check out StudioMaguyver.com for all things Studio Maguyver, guys. Music, fucking my handles. If you want to reach out and get in touch with me, maybe be a guest on the show one day, or even just fucking play some games together. Okay, StudioMaguyver.com. Okay, all those things. If you want to support the show, you can easily do that as well. You can go out there. You can get the merch, the official merch of the podcast, guys. Your coffee mugs, fucking hoodies, T-shirts. All those things will go towards helping the podcast, guys. And I got some dope stuff there. All right. If you guys love my warm butter takes, I have plenty of warm butter merch. Sake, okay, that's there as well. Okay, endo sticks, those are there as well. So, plenty of those things that I touch on. And if you're a long time listener, you know what I'm talking about. It's those inside things that we all come to love so much. All those things, all that merch available, StudioMaguyver.com. Okay. All right, with that being said, one more thing. Also check out, guys, my Dragon Ball channel. It's a new channel on YouTube. It's called DBD 24/7. It's short for Dragon Ball Drip 24/7. Check that out. Every fucking Tuesday at 4 o'clock, I discuss Dragon Ball stuff. All things Dragon Ball. Discussions of all kinds, okay? There. And you can also check out DragonBallDrip.com. If you are a super Dragon Ball fan like I am, and you want some fucking merch, original merch, something that you've never seen before, designed by yours truly, you can definitely go to DragonBallDrip.com and check out some of that merch. And also, that merch would help your boy out as well. So, yeah, man, actually, that merch has been doing pretty fucking good. I've sold some things there, and I feel pretty good about myself. I got more designs in the works on the way. I've got more stores coming, guys. I've got a lot of things in the works, so just be looking out for that. And I want to thank everybody for your support, everybody who has bought merch and everybody who has, spent money to help out the show. I love you guys for that, and I appreciate it so much. Now I'm going to get out of here, and I am hungry as fuck, so I am going to find something to eat. Anyway, guys, I love you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the show. If without you, there would be no me. Just a guy talking about anime and video games, man. Yo, what it is. Okay, I'm out. This is Studio Maguyver, and you have been listening to Studio Maguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.